Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap.
Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap.
Let's go. Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Protect.
Yo, peace.
Protect your energy.
Seen any good movies lately?
Yeah. Actually, I have
Tell
seen
me
some
about it.
good movies lately. So I'm gonna be honest. This one was kind of emotional for me,
Okay.
just because it brought in the children, and children play on my heart a lot. So actually, it was this child who was just like full of energy, just the classic perfect child. Like, they had like a sickness though, so. Yeah, so like one of those sicknesses where everybody's kind of like, oh, like be gentle with them, but they like so like full of adventure. You gotta be careful. Like you cannot do everything everybody else can do because of your illness, right? And so the family was real protective, and ultimately, like long story short, the child was just trying to explore. Like trying to go out and do different things and see different parts of life, and he wanted to make friends with other people, and he wanted to just like everything he wanted to do. And it was almost like his parents wanted to keep him in a bubble, contained almost, right? And so anyway, the child ends up going out, and of course, what happens? They end up losing the child. So like the child gets lost. Like,
Okay.
they're out about it, just, a regular day. And, like, the child ends up taking off, exploring like he always does. Because, of course, he has this vigor for life. So, the movie is about basically, like, them trying to, like, figure out where he's at. Right? So, they're, like, exploring all over, like, asking people, have you seen him? Where is he at? He ends up meeting some friends, like, randomly, where, like, he ends up, like, landing in front of a random spot, like meeting people, and they're like, hey, can we help you? Like, how do you get home? He was like, oh, I don't know. Like,
Classic
yeah.
tale.
Yeah. Have you seen this movie before?
I have not. I don't know what this is.
I'm pretty sure you've seen this movie before.
I would say Finding Nemo,
That's
Pinocchio.
You don't like that?
No.
That wasn't good? Finding Nemo?
First of all, it's so many things.
What?
Parents. His mom's dead. He has one parent.
Okay.
Okay.
Touche.
Secondly, you just saying like out in the world in front of some store and stuff. Like
I didn't say in front of some place. It was the
I was
dentist
gonna
office
say-
to me. That was like in front of the place. Like,
But that's not where they lost him.
Nah, but he ended up running into some friends. He ended up being at the
But it made it
dentist's
sound
house.
like out in the world is where he lost him in front of some
I can't tell you the
friends.
exact story.
I know, but I'm saying some of the stuff was just like Nemo didn't have two parents. Nemo dad was overprotective, but I mean, I was about to be like Pinocchio, but again, that's one parent. That's not parents.
Yeah, true.
I think when you being broad like that, you kind of got to watch your words.
Okay, you got to be very careful.
You got to
I
be
got
careful of
Okay.
how you setting the scene. Like both his parents is worried about him. Like what?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you could have emotionally brought that in. Some it's still good. We got it though. We got it.
You got it. Good.
Welcome back for another ZTP, Zen Trap Perspective. I'm one of your two hosts, Zen P.
Yogi LG.
The mission here at the Zen Trap Podcast is to inspire and empower people to continuously seek their internal peace by maximizing their personal potential. We got a great episode for you today.
Amen.
We're still on track for the topic of the month, which is productivity and time management. We're staying on brand with that. We got a great video review for you today.
Absolutely.
Yogi LG, why don't you tell them what we got?
All right, cool. So we're reviewing a video. This one is called "Enter the Cult of Extreme Productivity" by Mark Adams. If I'm not mistaken, they're in like Ireland or something. This is a TED Talk. We like to do the TEDs. I feel like they're motivational.
Don't get it wrong. Scotland, Ireland, which one?
His dad from Scotland, but I think he's in Ireland. So it was just a really good video. Let's jump right into it. P, what was your overall summary, I guess, of the video? What was it really about?
So it's a medium length video around roughly 20 minutes. And he really just wants you to think of an idea, a framework of what they call locking in. And it's really just trying to get your mind around being comfortable with fear, being comfortable with the procrastination fear of doing difficult things and making the outcome of failing appear scary so that you're comfortable enough to do it. It's almost what we talked about. If I had to say good shame,
Yeah.
and I could define what good shame is, but what would you?
I mean, pretty much the same. I think the biggest portion was he does a lot of build up to this.
Lot of build
which
up.
I know we typically don't like in general.
I
It's
did
just
not enjoy
like
it was good at first. I think he could have summarized that build up a lot quicker.
better. But I think it's about that lock in portion of just kind of how do we put steps and science behind getting locked in, because all the science and steps behind the processes we currently take now to be productive, New Year's resolutions are not like, they don't really hold up. Right,
and they're anxiety inducing.
Anxiety inducing for sure, but versus like contracts or what this country's built off, that's something that's like binding. You put kind of negative effects and positive effects to it, so that kind of helps you get locked in. So that's kind of what it's about.
I think my two biggest gripes, we already discussed one. The lead up. The lead up it's still a good lead up. It's just unnecessary to me. Like, you could have summarized that a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And the second one, I'm a person who loves examples. I know it's difficult to give examples, and I think the point of not giving examples is it's going to be personal to you, what motivates you and stuff. Right. However, I still love just giving people examples that they can build off of too. So, for example, when you're saying locking in, and what I mean by good shame, when I said good shame.
Please explain that, yeah.
So good shame could be, I'm about to have company coming over, so I've been procrastinating all week about cleaning my room or cleaning the living room or cleaning my space. Now, as soon as somebody texts me like, hey, I'm about to swing by your house in like 30 minutes, I get up and I clean everything. I'm doing that because I don't want to face the shame of somebody coming into my apartment and perceiving me as a messy or dirty person. A messy or dirty person knows they got company over, they gonna clean up. So I immediately start doing it, versus if I'm living inside of it, it may not be dirty, it may be messy or something, and I'm okay with it. But that's what I call good shame. Or let's say you weren't able to clean up. Like, they just came and they saw your place like that, and they tell you, hey man, you okay? Everything okay? Like, your place was looking. Me personally, I'm gonna feel a little shame in that. I know I didn't really have enough time, and then you got to say the excuses and stuff, or just the reasons, excuses,
I've been
whatever.
out of town, and...
you know. So now the shame of that moment can drive me in the future scenarios when that happens. Oh, I don't want this to happen again. Exactly. So that's what I call good shame, which I think he's talking about of locking in. How you push the good shame to the forefront of your mind when you're trying to do a task is the question that he's posing. And I don't necessarily know a lot of ways. Like, you really have to. So, but I would love to have heard examples of, he could say, imagine if you don't do this task done, what are the repercussions? What I've seen somebody else in a podcast say, if you're a smart enough person, you can rationalize anything that you're doing. And that's why it's usually difficult to talk to people who are book smart and all those things. I can rationalize, oh, well, I didn't have enough time, because if I focused on that, who's going to wash the dishes? Who's going to take the trash out? I was paying my bills. You don't want me to pay my rent? So, like, you can come up with something. Yeah. So I think it's difficult to find those failures. Yeah. What about you? Do you know examples like that?
Nah, I think it's not a lot of examples, but I do get where, like, he was kind of putting it in that little box that basically said, like, you want your consequences to be high for not doing certain things, but trying to find, like, things that, like, really make you want to, like...
30 lashes on your back if you don't get them dishes done today. It's 11:59.
I gotta get the dishes done. But ultimately, I agree. I think it's good shame is kind of what I think he's really trying to push, to where, like, I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail at this. I think, kind of jumping into my favorite section or bar, or any area, I guess, when he started talking about his grandma, I think that was the most powerful thing. Just like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
basically, long story short, him and his brother were supposed to create a audio tape. This is back when his grandmother had cancer. She needed something to listen to in the hospital. She was in the hospital by herself. So she was like, hey, can you make me a tape that I can play? And the grandma asked, the mom asked, like everybody was like, hey, y'all gonna make this tape? Yeah, we're gonna make it. We got it. And next call they got was like, oh, maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, I don't know how many weeks later.
Yeah, no
but
time for it.
eventually a call came and was like, hey, grandma's dead. And like, y'all
No need
never
for the
made the
tape.
tape.
You
Like,
good on
don't
the
even
tape,
do
man.
it. Don't even worry about it. And from that, it kind of like jump started them, which I think I believe in these type of moments. And I have a question for you on that. Do you believe in moments that like can fundamentally change a person, where like they do shit totally different because of this specific moment?
Of course, everybody has moments like that. I think.
Do you feel like you've had a moment like that in your life?
I'm sure if I think about it, yes. I don't have one that is always, oh, because this happened, I'm always like this. I could say, personally, to me, losing my scholarship. I lost my scholarship in college my senior year. A lot of people don't know that. I lost it second semester. That fundamentally changed how I go about work and things that are professional and important, of just pushing myself and making sure I'm staying on top of things. I think that fundamentally changed me, that you can't just coast. When you keep, eventually you're going to reach a level where you're with other people who have, if not the same story as you, some way harder story, and they push to get there. It's just like, I equate everything back to sports. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So you need to stay, like, you can keep doing your systems and routines, but at a certain point that's why you gotta keep re-examining and self-auditing. What about you? You got one?
Honestly, I don't think so.
No.
I can't. I mean,
You don't have one that just stays in the forefront of your head. I don't have one either. I don't have a
jumps out at me. I think, especially not to make me be more productive.
And I don't necessarily, I guess, have one that just keeps me being more productive per se. But I guess I was thinking more when you asked a question like that. People who have drunk driver incidents, that sticks with them forever. People who have battles with cancer, now they supporting cancer causes, doing cancer walks and stuff like that. I was thinking more along those lines.
I think like I've had some relationship shit happen where you like, oh, I can't trust this person like that no more. That changes how I trust people. Or it could I feel like other things change how you like interact with people. Like, oh, I'm not gonna be that open with people. I'm not gonna be that vulnerable with people. I have like smaller moments like that. But I wouldn't say anything that like kind of, especially, and I think yours, when you talk about like your scholarship, it kind of is toward productivity. Like
it's directly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I have any that align directly with productivity. I think like it was just small tweaks along the way, I guess. Maybe I still ain't that fucking productive. Who knows? But yeah, I would say I can't think of anything that steps out, but I do believe in that concept of like, shit can happen or things can happen in your life that are like life changing, and how you go about being productive and doing shit is totally different. Like some people fall in love with working out, like, or they for example, I could have hurt my knee and been like a workout fiend from here on out. Like, oh no, all I want to do is work on my knee. It didn't happen. I was hoping for that, but
You was hoping for that.
I mean, I really be hoping like some moments like, oh, this should change me forever.
I think that's the premise of the video too.
Yeah.
Just not waiting for that moment.
Exactly.
I think we as people all wait for this moment of,
and it's not coming unless you.
it
create
could, but you shouldn't necessarily wait
on
for it.
Yeah.
You should find. But
What
again, that's kind of way.
What do we do when moments happen and then the change that you expect to happen doesn't come after? You know what I'm saying?
Depressed. I don't know. That's where you show yourself grace and you start re-examining and self-auditing. Is this something that I truly, really wanted?
Yeah, true.
Another gripe I had with the video that you talked about, I feel like he could have leaned more into the like the last 60 seconds. He starts talking about how that moment for him is what led him and his brother to be doing these accolades, and I didn't know none of the accolades. I feel like he ran through those so quick, like Harvard. Something.
He must have ran out of time because the video, I felt like it was starting to get good, and then it cut off, and I was like, "Huh."
I'm like, you could just. And again, I feel like this is the
The
only
lead-up
video
was
that
so
I've
good.
critiqued so harshly, but You could have started with the grandma story and gone straight into the accolades, a little bit more on the lock-in. Could have wrapped this up in about 12 minutes, 15 minutes.
And it would have been more
A
content.
little bit more content and a little bit more.
He talked a lot
on
about like how him and his
life
brother was
and
losers and they just didn't do nothing.
The funny thing, the cone about
it's
having.
funny.
I got a picture of. I don't know why I've done it. There we go. Cone. I was drunk.
Sure,
Bring a cone. Stupid. Murder Beach.
Yeah,
Don't.
sure, it's a drunk thing. Just people.
Is there a piece of advice from this video that you would give your loved ones?
I think ultimately, like having that moment where you know you can lock in. I think me and you both know.
That's what I was gonna say.
We both know we can lock. Go ahead. What was
No.
you
I
gonna say?
was gonna say the same thing. I agree with the concept of locking in, and when he started talking about it, I almost was about to zone out because I was thinking like, oh, I know where this is going. Me and you definitely have moments where we say, I want to come up with a name for it. Locking in is kind of what we say a little bit, or hard 30.
Yeah, grinding for a minute. Like,
Hey, look, it's 4:00 for the next 30 minutes. What you gonna get done? Oh, in the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Cool. Go do that for 30 minutes. I'm gonna go do this for 30 minutes. Come back.
I love putting myself on the time limit and seeing how much energy I can exert towards one thing during that time limit. To me, that helps me be productive. That also lets me know that I have that lock-in feature. So for me, it's like getting like family and friends to understand like, hey, things may seem overwhelming. You may have a lot of shit going on, but you could take this and break it into little pieces and just lock this. I'm going to lock in for 30 minutes. Like, I'm about to lock in, or I'm going to spend 3 hours this weekend doing this one thing I want to get planned out. Like, all I need is 3 hours. I'm about to go at it.
Right. And that's time blocking at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but
ultimately, yeah.
It's a different mindset around it where it's almost extreme productivity, radical productivity. Exactly. So I thought that's where it was going for the lock-in, saying, hey, you take these blocks of time and you say, hey, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to eliminate distractions. I'm going to just focus on this task for 30 minutes and do it. And that's not really where he went. He went to the mindset around making sure you don't let the anxiety of having to do this and stuff build up.
And building like consequences and making it like contractual.
All right. So what consequences could you add to the activities or things you need to be productive around that would help you complete them?
For me, it's like taking away certain things. Like,
are you gonna take it away though? How do you?
Yeah,
how,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
How do I implement?
How are you gonna How would you? Because I'm assuming you don't do this now.
Yeah.
How would you implement what? So I'm gonna be very clear in the question. What are some of the consequences you would do? Like, what are some of the things you would take away, and how would you implement them if you were to go about this method? Because ultimately that's what I was looking for in the video is examples, and I know it's gonna be personal to you, so I'm asking you personally, like, what would you take away, and how would you make sure that gets taken away?
I'm gonna answer the how first.
Cool.
How is I say this all the time. I gotta keep promises to myself. So if I make a promise to myself and I'm breaking promises to myself, that I don't enjoy doing that.
And that's where the anxiety came from. That's what he's
Yes.
saying, anxiety. You keep making these lists or having all this willpower to do stuff, and then you don't do it. So.
Exactly. And so I know that it starts to give me anxiety if I keep letting myself down. I start to get into like a slump, right? So what I typically try to do is I try to deem like what's realistic. Like
what's realistic?
What's realistic?
That's where self-awareness is key.
Yeah, what's realistic for you, and then just hold myself to that. Like,
okay, now the example.
The example would probably be like, I'll do like,
and this is hypothetical now because I'm sure you don't do it. So
I mean, I do some.
Okay, cool. Well, that's what I'm saying.
I would say like, and some people may think this is harsh or rash or whatever.
It's
but
for you.
Yeah, it's
we
for
talking
me.
about
Like,
you.
all right, cool. I know you need to eat dinner, but you got to get more important shit done. So you can't eat dinner until
That's
you
why
do this.
you like, I'm starving myself.
Yeah,
so.
like whatever. Like, and that's not my biggest reward, but I know that's something that I'm gonna do every day. Like I'm gonna eat dinner or whatever, right? So hey, before you get your meal in, I know that's a time where you like to sit down, like relax, eat your meal. Before you do that, you got to get some extreme work done. Work up an appetite. How about that? Like, I'll tell myself stuff like that. Or if I'm going out on the weekend, like, oh, it's the weekend. Hey, you want to have a drink this weekend? You can't drink until you get your closet cleaned out. All right, cool. Let me go hit this closet. I know the drink coming. Like, I know everybody else done started, but I got to get this done. So I do things that I feel like are realistic, but are also like things that I know I want to happen that day too. So I kind of like make sure like it's a balance. Like you need to get this done and you also want to drink today. So get your shit together.
So
like,
drink while you do it. What happens when you just don't have shame? Because I'm going to go to Popeyes regardless. Like, hey, man, you supposed to work out. You can't have Popeyes and you didn't work out. That's why I love them all.
Y'all got them new wings?
Wow.
That's why I love them all,
so that's
for sure.
tough.
What do you do, I guess?
Yeah, because
Or
it's
do
almost
you do
like you a
anything?
dog. Reward systems.
Yes.
You got to figure out, and I learned this from watching some dog training video, random Instagram, TikTok. Some dogs are rewarded by, I think it's 3 things. It's either affection, toys, or outside, like playtime or something.
Treats.
Treat. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it
okay.
is. Thank you. Treats, affection, like playtime, or
Toys?
So you got to figure out as a puppy what motivates your dog so that you can get them to like do the tricks and stuff, sit and all of this, whatever productivity. You got to figure out what are they like. Oh, is it a treat that's gonna get their eye? Is it the toy? Is it a pat?
You got to do that shit for yourself.
You got to do that for yourself. Figure it out for yourself. For me, I can only think of 2 things. Food is a big motivator for me, and money. Me and you talked about coming up with something we was gonna start doing this summer. The only way I can fit, food, money, and accountability partner are the 3 for me. So I have to find things around that. I'm not doing that currently, but those would be the 3 biggest for me. So I would have loved to hear examples like that. How food and money can be in play. Like LG said, hey, if you want to eat bad this weekend, you got to make sure you do 3 workouts during the week. Yeah. If you don't get your 3 workouts in, you cannot go out to eat. You got to stay in and cook, making almost staying in a punishment. But if you're on a budget, then you got to, mix it up. Right. If I don't work hard for the next 30 minutes, I got to give Lizzie $5. I'm going to get my ass in there.
For real?
What?
Money motivates you like that?
Money motivates me.
Oh, yeah, money don't motivate
So that's what I'm
like
saying.
that.
That's you. That's you personally.
That's interesting.
I'm tight.
I guess I'm not.
You could bet me $1 on something. I'm going to go hard. But that's also putting that's making me want to bring out my competition side. Oh, it's $1 on the line. It's 50 cents on the line. So I know that about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put money up, I'm trying. I'm ready. I'm like,
all right, cool. That's really good to know.
See, this nigga trying to manipulate me. That's why you gotta watch your smart friends. What about you? Yeah, what's
what are my motivators? I mean,
you the Joker, huh? No triggers, nothing. I just want to see it burn. I do it because I want to see it burn.
Yeah, mine
You
is
probably are
pride and ego.
So that's what I'm saying. It's when I said the last one, accountability to a person. So not keeping a promise to somebody. You just be like, dang, Lizzie, I was really looking for you to come.
Yeah, that'll fuck me up. So you trying to manipulate me now?
Dang, I thought you was gonna clean that. You didn't do it. Oh, okay. It's no big deal.
It's a big deal.
That's good shame.
Yeah,
that's good shame in my opinion.
Yeah, I think pride, ego, personally, and then like the feeling of like, I guess I don't like to let people down. I don't like to like. Connection is very important to me. So anything dealing with my connection with someone.
If you put your word on it,
I'm trying to.
So how you do that for yourself? You write it on the mirror. I can't erase it until I do it. So this is like the examples that I would love to hear real time. You got to figure out what it is for you. Yeah. Like she said, it's not money for her per se. It could be accountability.
But for some people, it's like rewarding to put money on it. Like, hey, I'm gonna put $50 in my play account. If I get this shit done in the next hour.
Yeah.
Like, you can reward. I remember back in the day, all right, it's some Jordans to drop this weekend. What big tasks around the house need to get done? Which, okay, you need to empty out the refrigerator and the freezer and clean it from top to bottom. It's going to take you 3 hours. If you don't do that, and forget them Jordans Sunday morning.
You can put 2 and 2 together. Yeah. If money and accountability is what holds you together, have an accountability partner. So I can have a contract with Lindsay, hey, Lindsay, if I do not do 3 workouts this week, I have to give you $20 every time I don't do it. I have to send you the 20.
Yeah, that's tough.
I will have my ass working out to make sure I'm not sending this money. So that's the type I think that he was explaining.
$20.
No, you wouldn't. I can promise you that. It'd be 11 o'clock and I'm walking down to that gym to get that 4th one in just to make sure that 20 ain't just to go. 30. Yeah. So, but the root of all of that, the pillar, self-awareness. You need to be able to know yourself and figure out what is going to motivate you to do those things. Clearly, we still ain't doing it. So, Ain't like we saying.
I feel like we have very, and we saying this lightly. We have very productive moments. We can be very productive.
And that, my friend's an example of rationalizing
No,
what we're talking about.
I think we say it all the time. Like we take it lightly how much we can actually do versus like maybe if we compare ourselves to some others, it wouldn't be like
mindset. You can look at it on both ends. So that's what I talk about with rationality. You can look at it as, hey man, me and you, we're not that bad. Or we can go on the other side of, hey man,
we could be much better.
We could be so much better than what we could be. Our potential is undefined.
Our potential is undefined. Check out
potential is a grind. It is what it is.
For sure.
All right.
I was just gonna ask, did you have anything for me specifically? Like I know we just shared kind of things we feel like are motivators.
Yeah, do it. Be like Nike.
Just do it. Yeah.
Nike, do it.
And I'll give you the Adidas new tagline. You got this.
That's lame, Adidas.
I thought it was lame too.
That's lame.
You got this. Yeah. That's
do they do market research?
Yeah, of course.
With their customer, I guess if it's not the okay. Yeah. Yeah, when I say just do it, I mean, what am I trying to say? Don't do what always is easy.
Yeah.
Just because it's easy and you
My
can.
word for the year this year's challenge anyway. So I typically been trying to take the most challenging route in doing things, or the thing that I'm like most hesitant about, the path with most resistance, I guess. So I agree.
Passive motion, and I need you to still have the discernment of knowing when to do that versus not. Don't torture yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Make sure it's something that you know the goal that you're trying to kind of get out of it.
Yeah.
The lesson I'm trying to learn. At least you have an idea. Now, when you finish, maybe that wasn't a lesson. You got all these other lessons and you thought it was this one. But just make sure you are challenging yourself. Yeah. What about for me?
When I say you got this, just in the sense of like, I think that when he was talking about those contracts and like, I think you're good with contracts. I feel like binding things, especially you like things that are binding. Like,
binding things, get me going.
So I would kind of lean even more into that for your personal life of like, you have relationship contracts. You can make a contract with yourself, right? That's tough. But you could, right? You can make a contract with yourself, and then just again, to me, I think a big part of keeping promises to yourself has to do with how you feel about your goals and how you feel about yourself at the time. So just kind of constantly being aware of like, how do I really feel about this goal? Is this something I really want to do? Like, did I change that I wanted to do this? And I think like we all the time we say motivation is bullshit. So not that thing will give you motivation.
That's tough for me.
Right, but also but for me the motivation is, I care about the commitments I make to myself. So if I'm making this commitment and it's not really what I want to do, let me reevaluate that. You know what I'm saying? Like why would I make a promise to myself I don't really want to keep? Like I don't really want to do this, right? And so I think that's kind of how I come into a lot of stuff is like, hey, do I really still want to do this?
Two things I kind of take away from that and have a little therapy moment. One, I always leave a little bit of 1%, 10% in there of just, if this don't happen, I'm going to be okay.
Right.
And that's almost a safety net, Grace. That's not putting shame at the end of it.
And I feel like it clears up anxiety sometimes.
It does. It prefaces it so that when it does happen, I'm not necessarily having gold medal syndrome. Exactly. I didn't put all my eggs in this one basket of, if this happens, I'm not really having some high fall. Exactly. My fall is maybe a night, 5 to 10 minutes. The second thing, which I feel a little bit bad about, I necessarily don't like to hear accountability and pressure and shame from people not in the arena of trying creative outlets, which is a personal thing. And I don't truly believe in that. Like I still love the critique and feedback because I think you can get feedback from everybody. It just still.
But you feel like in the arena of your field, of the field you're talking about. You're saying like, if I was in the arena.
It ain't got to be the arena of my field. You are doing something outside of the normal thing of just going to work and providing for your.
Any type of challenge. Any type of
challenge.
Anything. You are doing something. If you're not challenging yourself in any way, productivity wise, and you trying to tell me like, hey, you could be more productive by. I'm sorry, what are you doing?
Yeah, I struggle with that a lot of people who aren't themselves pushing outside of their own personal comfort zone, because that's what you can. I'll put it like this. I don't think you can necessarily, and I don't know if we even got to this point where you can measure effort, but you can look at things and subjectively be like, you weren't giving 100% effort. You may have even scored 30, 50 in that game, but you were just playing around. You did not give forth 100% effort. So when people who are not giving forth effort into the things that they say they want are trying to talk to me about the effort I'm giving in the things that I say I either want or the things I'm trying, I have a hard time receiving that. And having a self-awareness of that at least allows me to take the space and just trying to still be able to listen to it and pull stuff from it. But that's one thing I really struggle with.
I understand. All right, do you see yourself changing in any way from this video? Like something you'll do different?
I think so. Especially with us being on productivity and time management this month, I definitely can lean into making contracts with myself, having good shame. I think I can coin that term now. Good shame coming from this video.
Yeah.
I like to make sure I'm thinking in. It's not conjunction. What is it? I'm not compartmentalizing. I like to make sure I'm bringing everything together. So I've seen another video, which I'm going to go ahead and give, I guess, my recommendation as well.
Yeah.
What I learned from this is learning not what motivates me, but what consequences to my actions along with the why I'm doing something can help me get over it. Making sure that I start, which is always the hardest part, and that's that book I talked about last time, The War of Resistance, which I highly recommend. Just starting will help me. And then the last thing is making sure I have that accountability piece, the system in place to.
That helps me a lot. I ain't gonna lie.
If I don't have accountability, and if I'm not holding, which again, best case scenario, most extreme people are great at holding accountability to themselves. That's what discipline is. You are able to hold yourself accountable for the slips and misses that you're doing. Yeah. What about you?
If I have some actual last words, I would say being an extrovert, and maybe for those who are ambiverts or extroverts or whatever, I get motivation from being around people. And so I find that I'm very productive in those moments. And so I think even when this dude was talking about his brother and like them, they kind of did this thing together. They kind of became wanted to be more productive together. I think when I'm going through a journey with someone, that makes me want to be productive. I could literally be sitting on the couch and I don't know, somebody come in and just want to kick it with me. I'll get up and start washing dishes. I'll wipe the counters off. I'll just start doing stuff just because a person is here versus when I was by myself, I was just sitting. So recognizing that about myself, I try to put myself in places where like, hey, if I want to really try to be productive on something that I know is important and I struggle with it, I know I'm better when a person is around me. So I may say like, hey, Paris, hey, what you doing this weekend? Can we watch the game? Yeah, cool. We can watch the game, but I could be sitting on my computer doing work while we're watching the game, but I'm motivated because this person is in the room with me. So finding things like that in your life that you realize like, oh, dang, I do more shit when I'm this way. Use that to your advantage. I use that as being my extrovert thing. I know people being around me.
I got one for you now, just because you said that.
Yeah.
That made me think.
Go ahead.
What did I recommend for you? Just do it. I feel like that's a little too broad. The one piece that could help you, you playing in your head.
Say it again.
You playing in your head.
I plan in my head, yes.
Put it on paper. I think if you do that one thing, that will start to open up. I think you, and I'm not saying you do a bad job at it. I think that's where you could go better, and it would trickle out into all your life.
Just writing it down.
Writing it down. If you added that to your system of start my day with, these are the two main things I want to do today. And now that makes me, again, I have a lot of productivity tips in my head that I don't really use. Yeah. Just as important as a to-do list is a not to-do list. These are the things I'm not going to prioritize today. I'm not going to think about them. That's not what's going to be worked on. I'm focusing on these two things. If I finish these two things, I can go to other stuff. I'm only worried about these two things. If you do that every day, Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday even, not even Monday through Friday, and you have like an ultimate schedule you can come back to where you can see it, I think that would do numbers for your life. The actual last tip that I was thinking about that I didn't really bring in, if you're one of those people who get overwhelmed by a to-do list on every day and you start getting that anxiety of, oh, I'm missing stuff on the day, do it in a longer range. It was a guy who said, if you focus on doing things in like a week, so instead of me saying, I got to make sure I work out on this day, if it doesn't happen, whatever, or I need to run 1 mile every day, and let's say that's 7 miles a week. Instead of saying I need to run 1 mile every day, just say I need to run 7 miles a week. So now you got days where it'd be like, oh, I didn't really feel it today. Tomorrow I can run 3 and I can still play around with catching up. Sometimes that helps with people who are like that. So real quick, Zen Thought of the Week. Zen P, got a quote for you today.
Talk to him, Pete.
Epic production has less to do with your willpower and more to do with the routines you install. Get those right and you'll enjoy exponential results automatically. And that's Robin Sharma, author of 5 a.m. Club and all those other books.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great thing. I think also that was something like that was in Atomic Habits. So all these self-help things, we say it all the time. They link together. Definitely set up a routine. That'll definitely help.
We have a book review that we're going to do next time. I don't really remember the title right now, but it's another book that has taken me away from believing in multitasking and things, called The Compound Effect. I think the author is Darren something. I highly recommend that book too, where you're just talking. I ain't even gonna talk about multitasking. It's more so about, I used to believe that little things didn't really matter in my head. I may not believe the overall, but when I'm sitting and stuff, it'd be like, oh, I'm not going to the gym for 15 minutes. That's what that literally
Pointless.
adds up to. It is pointless. Yeah. It is not pointless. The Compound Effect book can eliminate that belief in your head as well. So we got a lot more coming out this month. We'll probably go live.
It's a good month for sure.
It's a good month. It's a good month on something that we both clearly are passionate
productivity,
about.
time
enjoy.
management, we care.
That is definitely my thing. You got anything else?
Nah, I'm good, man.
All right. Well, this has been another ZTP, Zen Trap Perspective. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Go check out the mixtape,
sure.
Zen Trappers Not Rappers Volume 2. Check out the website if you haven't.
Get some merch.
Get some merch. Do your thing. We got new merch coming out. I'm one of your hosts, Zen P.
Yogi LG.
If you can't do nothing else, make sure you protect your peace.
And protect your energy.
It's the Zen Trap.
We out.
Baby. And if you don't do nothing else, make sure you protect your peace and protect your energy.